10 rappers who got away with murder. If you take their word for it, more than half the rappers in the world of hip-hop should be convicted felons, from drug dealing to gun smuggling to fighting in the streets. In today's video, we're gonna talk about 10 rappers who got away with murder. Before we begin, remember to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane caught a murder charge back in 2005 after detectives found a body of a local rapper, Pookie Lock, buried in the woods near a middle school in Atlanta, Georgia. Once he was accused in court, Gucci admitted guilty and claimed that he had no choice but to shoot the man in self-defense. It turns out that there was a $10,000 bounty on his chain, and 4 men in all black came to collect it while Gucci was visiting a female. Due to the fact that there were multiple eyewitnesses backing his story, the judge had no choice but to drop the case and release Gucci. Justifying the body he caught and buried, this soon became a folklore in the community, and the legend of the boogeyman of rap was born. Gucci went on to publicly implicate rapper Young Yeezy as the alleged brain behind the hit in interviews, as well as dissing him in tracks like Truth, where he tells Yeezy to go dig his partner up. A$AP Rocky. Recently, on the Untold Stories of Hip Hop with Angie Martinez, A$AP Rocky revealed that he was locked up on Rikers Island at the age of 16. It turns out he caught an attempted murder charge back in 2004 after almost killing a man during his trapping days in Harlem. At the time, Rocky was known for serving fiends and walking around with a lot of money. So on the day of the incident, an older man was targeting Rocky and tried pressing him. Rocky was able to finagle himself out of the situation and ended up linking with his cousin afterwards. Later that night, they went to confront the man at his home, both strapped. This is when Rocky claimed that they only went to talk things out, but things went left when the man reached for a weapon and Rocky started letting off shots, hitting the man at close range. The man later survived, but Rocky was hit with an attempted murder case and shipped to Rikers Island. Eventually, the case was dropped and he was hit with a less serious charge due to the fact that he was under the age of 17. Snoop Dogg. In 1995, Snoop Dogg had one of the most mainstream publicized murder trials in rap history. In the same year he released his debut album Doggy Style, he got with the charge that could have ended his rap career before it even started. It was 1993 and Snoop was 21 years old when he had a heated altercation with a rival set in LA. At first, they were able to separate without it getting too serious, but later that same day, Snoop and his bodyguard at the time ran into the same opposition in broad daylight at a park. Witnesses revealed that a rival member named Philip tried to check Snoop, letting him know what territory they were at. That's when Snoop's bodyguard got defensive and let off multiple shots from inside Snoop's car. Snoop then hit the gas and fled the scene. They didn't end up turning themselves in until after presenting an award at the MTV VMA. But eventually, with the help of Johnny Cochran, the same lawyer that got O.J. Simpson off his murder case, he was able to convince the jury that it was all in self-defense and got all his charges dismissed. French Montana. French Montana once faced and beat a murder case at the very beginning of his rap career in the early 2000s. The incident took place on 103rd Street in the Bronx. Frenchie had went to the recording studio with a couple of people he thought he was cool with at the time, but behind his back they had already plotted to cut his career short that night. Finishing the studio session, Frenchie was making his way out of the building when he's ambushed by 2 oppositions. This is when shots and a scuffle broke out, leaving 1 man dead and Frenchie with a hole in his head. He even went on live TV to show the scar in his head from the headshot. After checking himself out of the hospital, he came home to a warrant for his arrest. At first he did the race and left New York, but later extradited back to face his charges. Eventually he beat his murder case due to the fact that there was little evidence that he had fired the shot and took out the man. The court determined that the other man that was there to ambush Frenchie accidentally shot his own mans during the scuffle, automatically freeing Frenchie and allowing him to continue his rap career. DaBaby. In 2018, DaBaby beat a murder case just a few months before his career took off and went platinum. He was charged with the murder of a 19-year-old Jalen Craig during an altercation inside a Walmart. DaBaby claimed that he shot him in self-defense after he noticed Jalen reaching for a weapon. At the time of the incident, he was shopping with his 2 children and his baby's mom. Feeling like his whole family was at risk, he immediately pulled out his own weapon and fired at Jalen at close range. He was later arrested, with prosecutors seeking a murder charge, but eventually the case fell apart and was dismissed due to a key witness not being available. Prosecutors settled with charging him with a misdemeanor for carrying a concealed weapon and ended up sentencing DaBaby to 12 months of unsupervised probation, allowing his career to blow up shortly after. Chief Keef. Chief Keef got a very early start in his life of crime. At 16 years old, the young MC got into an altercation with the police that involved a chase on foot. The police opened fire but did not hit him. He ended up with a juvenile detention sentencing for the youngster. Unfortunately for Chief Keef's street cred, the rapper only spent a short amount of time in a correctional facility before a judge decreed that he be sentenced to home confinement. In a much more embarrassing kind of confinement, Keef was sent to live with his grandmother. However, as he reached adulthood, Chief Keef continued his criminal activity. In 2013, the rapper spent 60 days in jail for a parole violation. Hopefully, the young rapper will leave his parole violation and grandmother's house arrest behind and be able to focus on his career in the future. G-Dep. Travell Gerald Coleman, better known by his stage name G-Dep, which stands for Ghetto Dependent, is an American rapper from Harlem, New York City. G-Dep killed a man in 1993, but the case was never solved. Fast forward to 2010, G-Dep, perhaps haunted by guilt, walked into the Harlem precinct and told police officers that he shot and killed a man in 1993. According to G-Dep, he tried to mug a stranger at gunpoint when they started fighting for his weapon. He fired 3 shots and fled. Authorities linked the 1993 unsolved murder of John Hankel, 32, with Depp's story. He told New York Post that he felt he acted responsibly. G-Dep told the paper he received a minimum sentence of 15 to life. Cassidy. In 2005, Cassidy and 2 other men shot up 3 unarmed men during a scuffle in Philadelphia. A man named Desmond Hawkins died as a result after being shot in the back. Cassidy was charged with 3rd-degree murder, attempted murder, reckless endangerment, aggravated assault, and weapons crimes. His charges were reduced after one of the witnesses withdrew his account. In 2006, Cassidy was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, and possession of a crime instrument. He received 11 to 23 months in prison plus credit for 7 months previously served. He was released after 8 months. We'd really like to meet his lawyer, NBA Youngboy. In 2016, NBA Youngboy was snatched off by US Marshals right before a performance in Texas and extradited back to Louisiana to face 2 attempted murder charges. Youngboy was accused of being the triggerman in a drive-by alongside 3 of his teenage associates. He allegedly pulled up on a crowd of oppositions, got out of the car, and let off multiple shots before getting back in and fleeing the scene. One of his associates was hit in the neck, and soon after, the driver crashed the car. That's when they all got out and ran off on foot before the police ever arrived. At first, just the associate that was hit in the neck was charged, but eventually, everyone involved was picked up one by one. In court, NBA Youngboy was honest about the drive-by and pled out to a lesser charge of aggravated assault. The judge told him that he was fortunate that he had bad aim since no one he shot actually died. And for that, she sentenced him to a suspended 10-year term, meaning he will serve 10 years outside of prison as long as he does not catch any new case. Al-Bial. In 2014, Al-Bial was accused of throwing a teenager off a bridge into the Hudson River after getting shot by his cousin. He might have survived the shot if he didn't drown in the river, and so for that he was charged with the 1st degree. Al went on Bolt TV to explain that he faced up to 100 years due to the strict gun laws in Jersey, so it was a big risk taking the case to trial, denying any plea deals. At first he got his bail posted by NFL player Kenny Britt, but was revoked after catching another charge unrelated to the pending murder case. At the end of the trial, he was found not guilty and acquitted of all charges. Unfortunately, today he's back in jail facing 2 new attempted murder cases. Thanks for watching the video. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe to us for more content just like this.